Throughout the Bible, we see that there is a lot in a name, especially in Genesis chapter 2. We see this several times that names are given to things and there's great meaning within them. From the start, we see Adam being made from the dust of the earth. In Hebrew, the word Adam means man. And then later on, we see God, after he's made all the animals of the air and the animals of the land, he calls Adam, man, to name each of these creatures. It says in verse 19, he brought to the man to see what he would name them. And whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds of the air, and all the beasts of the field. But for Adam, there was no suitable helper. And so God makes Adam a companion, someone to live life alongside, someone to worship God with, someone to be with. And after God presents Adam with Eve, with this woman, here's what Adam says. He says, "Now this is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman." Adam names her too. She shall be called woman, which in the Hebrew sounds a lot like man, because she came from man. For, as Adam says, she was taken out of man. And throughout the Bible, this idea of names, it's really important. For David, later in the Old Testament, we'll read about him. His name means beloved, and he's often referred to as the man after God's own heart. And then in the New Testament, we have Peter, whose name means rock or stone. And Jesus tells Peter, using his name, he tells Peter that he's going to build his church on Peter. He's going to make Peter a leader for his church. He's going to be a rock for his church, a stone in which he's going to build his church on. So he's telling Peter that his name has great meaning for his future as well. And then we see name changes. Joseph, the son of a Levite, in Acts, I think it's Acts chapter 3, his original name is Joseph, and he gives away all these possessions to those who are in great need. He gives away all of his possessions to those who have need in the church, and they start calling him Barnabas, which means son of encouragement, because he's encouraging people with the things he has. He's encouraging people with his generosity. Another really important name change is what happens with the Apostle Paul. His name is originally Saul, which means asked for or acquired of, which makes sense because originally the name Saul came from King Saul, the one that all of Israel were asking for. They were asking for an earthly king, and he was the first king. So Saul was picked out because he was a really big, mighty man. And so we have Paul, his original name meaning acquired of, but then his name changes after his conversion to Paul, which means small. It's the opposite of Saul. It means humble. It means little. And there's something in this idea that Paul has been brought low. Somebody who was trained in the law his entire life, was a leader amongst all the other Pharisees, has now been brought low and is a servant of God. He is small. He is humble. And then, of course, probably the most important name meanings is Jesus, which means God saves. And he's also referred to as Emmanuel, which means God is with us. So my question for you is, what is the meaning of your name? And what other names are you called apart from that name? For example, people call me Chris, but they also call me other names. Some good, I think probably some bad maybe. I would hope that they also say, Chris, he's also called son of encouragement because he's generous. And I hope people say that, Chris, he's also beloved because we see how much he worships and loves God. And so what other names are you called by people whenever they see you love your God and whenever they see you love others?